Okay, I believe we are now recording. Transcripts too.
Yep, it says you are.
Fantastic. Well, welcome to today's VAM meeting. And here we get together to sit around as a team to really learn together, to share ideas together and socialize a little bit, because that's part of the fun too, especially since I'm here home alone. This time really helps me out to really get to pass you guys like by the water cooler and hang out, get to know you. And that's why these meetings start with an icebreaker. So I found out that there's holidays every single day. And today is National Walnut Day.
Okay.
Kind of an awareness appreciation holiday for some food. And walnuts are considered one of the superfoods if you don't have an allergy to it. It's funny because they say it's our foods that are shaped a certain way help our bodies in that way. So the walnut looks like a brain, it helps our brain. Carrots look like an eyeball when you slice them through, they help our eyes. Well, things like that. So walnuts are on the good thing. But today's question is, walnuts on brownies. Is this a yay or a nay for you?
Yay! I've actually had it.
Like
I'll say yeah.
I'm the same, but I will say this caveat. I prefer small chunks of brownie, or small chunks of walnut in the brownie, not giant walnut on top.
Yeah. I think like have had it before. It's like it's crunched up nuts and walnut was one of them. So yeah.
Oh, and that's our icebreaker. And yeah, so that's just getting to know each other a little better, and it brings everybody into the moment, lets everybody speak up at the beginning of a meeting to become more present. And that's why we go through that. So now we can get to why we're here today. And today we are here to talk about Mavis, our customer Mavis. Luckily, they've given us a really neat opportunity working with their prototype. So it's a complete repeat of a building that we, as the engineering group, are going to pre-wire these systems and kind of cookie cutter them out. But all these cookies need individual icing. And, we're kind of coming together that like, this is something, we can transition Rosemary into coming in to do. It's nice, easy, basic CAD work. It is the epitome of what CAD work is, which is a lot of just data management. And rinse and repeat. This will not be a glorious job. But we do have, how I was talking about, like manual labor versus automating things in AutoCAD. This setup is part of the automated system. So it will be super easy. So that's the nice part. I have kind of written out on the agenda a couple of things to make sure we cover. And what I would like you to do, Rosemary, while we're going through this, to kind of type out the directions, as you're interpreting them, because I want you to be able to repeat them.
Okay.
And then this will kind of help us develop like a little bit of an SOP for what this little piece is in our process. And so that's why I wanted everybody to get the agenda open. So you're more than welcome to type in there. And then what I want from Joey and I is, as we are covering the pieces we want to cover, that's why I wrote out the list. If we think of more things to cover, I want to write down what we're covering so we could get better at identifying what needs covered when we cover things.
Okay.
So, and the agenda is a live document, so we can all get on there and type on it. Any questions or concerns so far? Cool.
None for me.
Okay. Let's see. Show you guys a couple of things. Let me see. First thing first. I'm gonna show.
I just gotta remember to actually type out stuff. I like
And
that.
if you want to handwrite notes, if that's more comfortable, and then type it up later, do what works for you and your best note-taking methodology.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, my God.
Okay, one thing I want to show, I'm going to start, this is kind of put the link in the chat, which it's Rosemary, this will be one you want to pay attention to. You'll probably like pin this link.
Okay.
If I come here, go to here, come to the chat here. Because this is, and again, knowing how we're all on possible different network paths, I'm assuming you'll have access to this if it's not through the Z drive, but it is Maitland's. No, Gainesville. This is the Joey.
If it's in the shared drive,
Yes.
we'll have
Yeah.
access regardless of the path.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that-
what I assume. So I don't know if that path will
Yeah.
get you there, but if whatever path that is, you should be
You-
able to.
you-
Because yeah, it's wherever we're all
Yeah.
sharing stuff. This
You
is
just
where
have to
Joey
replace
and
that
I.
Z. Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, Rosemary, you may have to replace the Z with a different letter. Depends on how it's assigned on your computer.
I think mine's
rest
a
of the path will
Z
be right.
actually.
Yeah,
I
that
think
could work
mine-
for you.
I think my shared drive. Oh, never mind. Z is my Maitland one. Yeah, you said Maitland, right?
Yeah, see,
That's
that
it.
works.
That's Maitland.
Okay, Z is Maitland for me, and Y is the Gainesville drive.
Me too.
Cool.
Okay.
So we're
me
on
too.
the same path.
Yeah.
So that gets you to the outside, the basic Mavis customer specific folder. And then in here, we've got, I'm going to say, I put us at 3 levels, and you'll see it here in my Excel. And that first level is where you'll see the Excel. It's down here, the Mavis template records.
Okay.
And so what I've done is I've broken down based on how we've named the files. Whether it's in this first layer, which are not wired. So we've got like the base bid set together, but we haven't set it up with permit yet. And that's what this column's for. Next column, what I did, because I'm compulsive and I'm going to go through and check everything, is I created a folder, said in for second review. And I'm going to go in to each of these sets and I'm going to make sure some of these inconsistencies that I've seen in the past are translating all the way through. And I've got one we're about to talk about. So in for second review is hanging out in a folder, and then when they're done, they're going to just go back into wired templates. Kind of come out of that folder. When they're done, they'll be blank and wired. And that's when you'll deal with them, Rosemary. Is
Okay.
from this pile. These are the ones that'll be all ready for you to open in a regular AutoCAD. And you'll open up the necessary file, and then you'll do the data stuff. Open the other drawings, save them, close them, publish. Technically, that's it, but we will break that down for you. Don't worry. I'm not going to say that's it, ready to go.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is kind of where, and then the one file that I started with, because you got to start somewhere, I just grabbed start and low, the 6-bay double wired. And this is going to lead me to my first question to Joey on something that I think I found an inconsistency on. Because when I was looking at the construction drawings for a non-prototyped Mavis that I'm working on, I noticed that the occupancy class had been defined. And it was the M for mercantile and the S for storage. But
Yeah.
I would have thought we had gone through a change of putting business for B.
No, I haven't gone back through any of those. Some of the plans were when it came in were different when mercantile. So I haven't gone back through all the templates to change all of them.
So what do we want it to be? Or does it vary?
No, I think we just want all of them to be B.
Okay, we do want them to
Group B
be
business,
despite what the construction drawing says.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure before I moved on. And the one other thing that I noticed, oh, Joey, this will tickle your pickle. This guy, and new Mavis.
That's funny.
I caught that one. Okay, so then this is BUSINEN, Business Group B.
Yeah.
Okay, so this kind of information is already going to be saved into the file. So, all right, that's what I wanted to know about this. So what I'm going to do is save it, and then we're going to open a new drawing and kind of walk you through what your steps will be. But I had this all open so I could ask Joey that question. My computer's been running real slow today.
Mine was like that yesterday.
Yeah, I think when we're done with this meeting, I'm going to restart. IT's favorite solution, turn it off, turn it back on.
Carla was having that issue with the printer, and that's exactly what she did, and it worked. It's troubleshooting 101.
It is still not doing it. All right, we'll talk about, oh, there it goes. Okay, file structure. So what you should receive, say it'll be a file like this. It'll just say 6-bay double, and it'll be wired. We're going to come in here, search by type, and let's cover these things that are, okay, what all is in the template. So what are these things? We've got lots of different file extensions. The main ones you'll ever touch we'll say click on, are these DWGs. Of course. These other ones are very important. This guy, the ATP, is associated with the FireCAD. And the DST file is associated with your sheet set manager. And that's going to be your friend, the sheet set manager. Okay, now back to our DWGs. All these files hold different things when it comes to our work. We have Luckily, we named it well base file, which is, we're going to call this the main working file. When you go to do your work, most of it will be here. But you know how when we make our submittals, we've got multiple sheets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these other files are for. They're the views of what's inside of this base file. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and do a mass opening. We're just going to open everybody up, which will probably take forever given my computer. Now, when it's your turn, you're not going to need to open them like this. I'm just opening everybody right now so we can cover what's in them.
Okay.
Like if I'm correct, what I would suggest getting started is like when you've got your file set up and you're ready to work, you'll just open the base file.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just to make sure I'm following, the base file basically is a page that doesn't print, but it's there and it holds all the information for the pages that do print, like FA1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, right?
Yes. So, okay, this is just me inquiring about where you're at with your CAD knowledge between model space and paper space. Are you familiar with it or not?
Model space, I haven't worked at all on paper space.
Okay, but you're at least familiar with what it is? Because I'll
I
cover
think
it.
so. No, I'll appreciate if you do, but just to blurt out what I think I know.
Yes.
It's that paper space is like where because model space, like we said last time, it's like infinite. Like I can put things in anywhere and it doesn't matter because I'm just working there. But once it translates to paper space, it basically will look like what I will provide somebody as a PDF. So it's like where
Yes.
things look neat and organized, not like my
Yes.
model spaces that have like so many things.
Yes, that is it in a nutshell. So now we'll cover it with the visual concept of what that means.
Okay.
And how these pieces work together. Because now we're talking about a file relationship. And that's where a lot of this is. It's, well, you know, hyperlinking per se. This links into that. This reads into that. This pulls in from that. This knowledge all swishes around, which can get very confusing. You know, who's reading what from where.
Yeah, I have wondered how that works because there is so much in model space and I know not everything goes over to the white page basically.
Yeah.
So I have wondered that, but
control.
I haven't get there yet. I was just doing layers the other day and layer management, and that was cool.
Yes, layers are great. I am a big fan of, to me, this is what makes a good drafter versus a not good drafter, which is the ability and the understanding and the willingness to use layers and layer control. Because you can get it and not use it. You could try to use it and not get it. We are still opening these files.
Are they big files?
No. It's just one of those days.
We went into the backyard yesterday. We just wanted to chill out a little bit, and the mosquitoes swamped us.
Oh no. I bought a bunch of citronella candles when I was just at the store the other day, just for.
That's our next step. We're just gonna buy the big torches and we're just gonna put like around the little pad that we have in the back. Because like if you guys see me itching, I promise I'm okay. It's just
I know what I want to plant is the citronella plant.
ooh yeah.
Those things are they
Yeah.
look cool, and then just
Mhm.
go and touch them.
I remember a neighbor, my parents had one, and he gave my parents a little like branch. I don't even know what happened to it. I think my dad planted it somewhere, but I didn't get any for me. So
Okay, here we go. We're open. We're gonna start at the end with things that don't make near as much sense. Which some of this won't matter too much of getting into the details of it. Thank goodness, because I fudged my way through figuring out this sheet. This one,
Yeah.
this guy's called the details. And what he looks like, okay, this is, think of it this way, which I should have clarified. You have two base files. One base file says, hi, I'm a base file. And this is where your work is. This is where the fire alarm work is. The other base file is dedicated to the details. So it doesn't, there's no linking of these DWGs to each other. You would, if you needed to change this page, anything, all this data in here, you would have to do so within this file itself, not the file that says base. Remember, this guy's called details. This guy's called base. These guys have their sheet name. So that's a way to define who's doing what, because he does not give you a sheet name. So this is one of those where you come in here, model space, eventually. There's our infinite of everything. And then right here, oops, you'll see I'm going to put this big old white line through it. If we come back over here, you'll see that's where it came through. So what we're doing here is oops, undo. Here in paper space, we are looking through the model space. There are two things. Oh, okay. Let me do this better. There are two things happening in paper space. Look, you see that little white border looks like a piece of paper, hence paper space. So if I go and I type in preview, you'll notice this is what would print.
Okay.
So you see, you get some information up here, got that information down there, blah, blah, blah. And then here it is. And all the stuff I just moved over wouldn't print because it's not hanging out right there on that piece of paper. And it's doing that because of a setting. So you don't have to worry about that setting. So, but now this lives here in the piece of paper, but none of this that you see here lives inside. Nothing lives on this piece of paper. This is a window.
Okay.
This is his own window. These are all different windows. Oops. He's a window. He's a window. He's a window. He's a window. So what are they looking at? Right? So they are actually, I'm sorry, I'm gonna make this so hard. they are looking at model space. So one window is looking here. One of those windows is looking here. One of those windows is looking here. Because when we've always got to go back and change the engineer signature, this is where we go. We're here in model space. So it's a bunch of little windows. That are looking around into model space. So that's kind of the basics of how the system works together between paper and model.
Right.
And so they're all set up like this at various degrees. So he is an independent little file who's looking in on himself. So, and back to if I needed to change something, let's go faster.
Question, I want to make sure I didn't miss it.
Mhm.
So I see how all these little windows are so like far apart from each other, but once it goes into paper space, they all look neat and organized. How do I shift that?
So for that, everything now here, by doing it this way, we control these views independently.
Mhm.
So I can double click inside the window and move things around the view. I
Ah,
can zoom in, I can zoom out. I can specify the scale. This is how we get scale drawings. Because everything in model space is at real scale. When we draw a 3-foot door, it's really 3 feet. That's why the space is infinite. That's why we can do full hospitals within, that space, because you don't run out. But you only want to show so much on a piece of paper. And we
Right.
always do it to a scale, 1/4-inch scale, whatever. So we set that, we select that little window called a viewport. So you can actually, if you're ever in your properties, oh, that's a block reference. I grabbed the wrong thing. There we go. Properties right here says it's a viewport. We usually put these on a layer that will not print. So this way you don't see the drawn line, because we see it here on the computer. But just because we see it doesn't mean it prints. That goes back to layer control.
Right.
Not all layers will print no matter what. And so when you have information that you'll never want printed, you'll create a layer for it. And this way, if it's turned on when somebody prints, it doesn't matter, because there's a lot of times when you don't set that up right and you leave the wrong thing on, you print it, then you got to go back and redo it because you won't see it till it's done. Okay, viewport. For the scale, that gets controlled right here. So you can change. And where I am, this is the properties palette.
Okay.
That's another thing that I would say is your friend. I keep a total of 5 palettes available to me, but we'll talk about that a different day. But that's just a little bit about what you're looking at and how you control those pieces. Luckily, like what we'll be giving you is all set up, so you won't have to deal with this till we get you to the next step of drafting. So, just making it sound familiar, so when you do get into the next step, we'll cover it again, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's what you were talking about."
Yeah, today viewports are making a lot more sense than the other day that I heard about them.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so we're just going to close this. That's the details page. Like I said, he's kind of independent, but he is connected to them through this thing. This is the sheet set manager. This is literally it. What this thing is. It is, using the proper vernacular, this is a palette. These are all palettes. This is its own palette. This is my FireCAD palette. Oops. This is my layer management palette. So each one of these are a different palette. And they're just their own windows into different data management. Like I said, that's so much of what drafting is, data management. They just they just all manage different bits of data. So your sheet set manager, your friend, manages the information about the project. So this is textual, T-E-X-T, textual. And what that's going to do is feed these words into the drawing. Come on, speed. Number. Here we go. Okay. So then we've got our 3 sheets. Again, these should look familiar. We got the cover sheet, floor plan, and this is for the bases in particular, like conduits, like another detail sheet almost. And then there was the other detail file. So the information, and again, there's your window. There's a window. There's a window. 2 more windows. Same setup. Most of these windows, like here, are in the same place. And then these vary depending on what you need from model space. Here's what's interesting about this model space, though. All this stuff, none of it lives in this file. This is a snapshot into the base file. That's why you do the work in the base file. It will show up different here. So let me give you a nice noticeable difference.
Okay.
So I'm going to take this, just move it up here. I'm going to save this file. Maybe not. Right protected. What happened? Oh. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, come on, let's close.
If you just heard that, that was my dog snoring. Please ignore.
No worries. You get good background masking. I have to wonder that because I've got one that howls.
Oh.
You know, I got one of those, and he'll be right in here too. And we'll be in the meeting. I'm like, where's the shoe? Come on.
Yeah, he snores loud. I thought you guys heard it because it was so loud for me.
Okay, let's see if the base file will open and be editable. I think I know what part of the problem is. Let's close everything. Jeez, Louise. Goodness. Okay. Let's open that base file again. Okay, now we're going to run it through. Now you might want to pay attention because now I'm going to pretend I'm opening up a drawing. So this is you getting started and you've got your assignment. You open up the base drawing. Now what? So the first thing to do is to open up your sheet set manager. There are various ways to do that. You can type into your command line SSM, sheet set manager. You can be here in your view tab up here. I'll let you write and I'll show.
Yes. Okay.
Boop, boop, boop. And then over here are all those palettes we were talking about. Lots of palettes. Sheet set manager is one of them. So you got options on how you want to open it. It's all the same thing. And I think once you have it open, it'll stay open.
Okay.
Yeah, it will.
But if you do end up closing it, that's how you'll refine it. And you can also, again, we can cover at a different time, customizing this kind of stuff because I also keep access to my palettes way up here because it's AutoCAD. We can customize everything. Let's see. So here we are. We're in the template. Got our sheet set manager open. Here's my palette. You've got two things. Like right now, if I'm hovering over here, my palette stays open. If I want it to close because I want more real estate, we got two things here. The X will, of course, close it. And this little guy over here is going to make it slide down. Okay. And it'll only come back up when I hover over it. If I want them to stay pop back out, the auto hide moved to the other side and I can click it and it stays open. So when I'm working here, I keep mine open. And then of course, you've got 3 tabs here to the side. Currently we only worry about this top tab because this is where you have to be to get to the choice to open the proper file. This goes back to what's in here. And we're going to open this file by going, yes, DST, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's like when the customer provides a PDF of the layout. Is it that like they're trying to open it, or is this something like different?
No, this
like
is a file that holds data. Like if you were to double click that file, nothing would, in the folder structure, nothing would happen. This is just the association of what it's linking to.
Okay. Never mind. I got confused for a second.
No worries. Keep asking for clarification. That's why we're here. So just so you know, that was the file we're going to open. So we're going to come down here to open.
So this is all even before we touch a floor plan. This is just for information that's
Yes.
been set.
Yes, and actually, if you're doing this for Mavis, the floor plan's already done.
Got it.
We'll have everything saved. And then here's what literally, these will be your steps, is coming in and opening up this file. And it lives in the same folder as the DWG. We've got it, our structures packaged, everything's in one place.
Okay.
So like it knew to open it from where it was because I didn't have other stuff open. Sometimes you'll just have to hunt back to where your work lives to make it open, because it'll default sometimes to the last place it opened a file, which could be a previous job.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you gotta force it to open what you need, what you
Yeah,
need it to open.
it may or may not.
Got it.
Does what it wants. So
As
now
most technological things.
So what that does is it opens up this. You know, we had nothing there, and now we got this.
Okay.
If we stay here on this one called FA Plan 1, it should always be named that until we change things. If I come here and wait for it to respond. There we go. I come to this, I right click on it. And then I'm coming down here to properties. So this guy, right click, properties. Has to be the top tier.
Okay.
Then we get this. This is where you'll work. This is everything.
Well,
It is this list to this list. Nothing above it matters, and there is nothing below it. And so this is where you put in all the information. You'll go, this is where we're in, oops, I should have had D365 open.
that's a cool background.
If I come in here, just grab a Mavis. So for me, what I do is there's my Mavis. I come over here to the customer. The first thing I get is the address, and I am a copy, paste. Address 1, address 2. Those will be just the 2 pieces. Come get this one, address 2. And then what I'm going to do is make sure, you know how we've got like these little stars? I'm going to make sure they're put in all the right places. So you know where it's prompting you to put information in. So those 2 address lines would have had stars. I'm going to do that. So it is apparent, like change this, change that, change this, change that. Like we've got here.
Okay.
Building code, building code. We don't put them in the amendments because there's nothing there, you know, unless we need something there. But we always want something here.
Mhm.
The date will get X'd out. Because again, I want you to remind you, or whoever, you know, just that needs updated. But this is going to be filled in. Business group B, like we were talking about at the beginning. All this, you know, designer does not really matter because we're prototyping. This is start out because because communication is different for each job.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to the D365. So if I come back to here, you guys, now when I switch to 365, it does show on the screen, right? Like, do you see
Yes.
CAD or, okay.
Yes. No.
Okay, good. So I've added in my address, and that's when I come up here to related. I jump directly to AHJ. And you know how to get and dance around in that fun setup.
That
And
is
this
my
is-
current world.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I've wondered
yeah.
about, that's a good tip. You need to make sure we got that written down somewhere. That could even be written in the template or something, because
Yeah. That wouldn't be bad. If you don't, Rosemary, you'll just see lines there, a bunch of
yeah,
dashes.
that's the problem with fields,
Mhm.
is leaving them empty creates these dashes. But I've wondered how you worked. Then I thought it was just crazy that that had to happen.
No, I looked that up because it was bugging me when I first started using it. I changed that.
So Alt 0160. So that's
Mhm.
hang on. I don't have any fields in here, do I? No. Never mind. Okay, hang on. I digress. We'll worry about that later. Sorry. Back to where I'm getting my information. So now I'm in D365. Here's an interesting communication path. Cell soul path, not IP and cell. IP cell is our default. This just told me we are deviating. So another thing that I'd love for us to do in the template is maybe have somewhere that we could put these notes in that we've identified it.
Hmm.
Because if we are grabbing
Yeah.
some of the stuff at bid, we don't have to relook at permit kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
So just
that
a
would be
mental
nice.
note. Because between
Mhm.
that, the fact that the RTU needs to be global. So we can come here to this guy. Oops. I've been replacing him with a block because this does not have CO.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
this is one of these templates that I'm rewiring. This is why, because now I could put in a matrix that has the CO detector in it. Because I did notice that one. But given that it's global, back to what I was talking about, this one's been exploded, so I can't do that. But if I were to take this one here where it says the individual shutdown, I can go ahead and switch it here to global. So just something real basic for that. And again, that's point being, you know, that's what the information I see here on 365 means to me in the drawing.
That was
That's
very cool. The fact that you switch from individual to global.
yeah. And so we've got that, you know, so okay, there's where I note that. This is where I needed to do a better job of paying attention to this. What is an APS?
For Texas.
Okay. So
Yeah, so
that's,
Jeremy holds an APS and it's a green block.
yep.
That has this information.
And I would wiggle my mouse if my computer was fine. There we go. So when we have to change that, we're over here in model space. We've got the same pull down menu.
Wow. That is cool.
And so every time you guys tell us to change our stamp, this is where we're going. And then from
Okay.
here, one of these sheets, actually each one of these sheets, 0, 1, and 3, all reference this little snapshot right here in model space. Because all 3 of these files are looking inside of this file. So remember, this is the only place we're doing work.
Right.
But all 3 of these in their paper space, they look at that, just that shadow inside of theirs. Because you saw we had the image in there. Let's see if we can get it to open now, because I'm in a file I can save. Save it. And then I'm going to open something eventually. There you go. The layouts. I'm gonna open these 2. So I can select one, I can hold Shift, select another one, right click, open. So I can open them this way. I can open them directly from the folder. Does not matter.
Okay.
But if I don't have the file open, I don't have to go. That's one of the nice things about that little palette is because people like in large firms, when you've got multiple disciplines and you've got 200 pieces of paper in there, those files are everywhere. You know, we are small, so we get to put our stuff in one place.
Mhm.
All right, guys, we're getting to the top of the hour, but I don't think we've got too much left because I want to specify how she's looking through the model space. And then getting the codes in. Okay. So again, window, window. So you can make different shaped windows.
Yeah.
I jump here to model space. Again, I touch one thing, everything highlights. It's all connected. I cannot touch these items. But if I come here to base, I can touch these items, move them. Oops. Hit save. Wait till tomorrow.
I mean, you guys' computer are meant for design and they take long. I can't even start to imagine how long it's gonna take my computer. Poor thing is slow on its own.
Usually it's not. I have to admit this drives me crazy too. Like as a drafter, when you don't have a good enough computer for your system and stuff, like I hope you don't get bogged down, and it shouldn't do this. I feel bad. Like this is the example. So I come here, I save that file, and here's this little pop-up, and it says to reload that file because it was saved. Because that means a change is made, and he knows it. So if I do this, we wait till tomorrow.
That seems optimistic, yeah. You're
And
expecting
no,
it to be done
you
by
missed it.
tomorrow? Is
You
it?
looked away.
It happened right when
It
I
happened.
should have looked earlier.
So it moved those things up there to mirror it. Again, I can't touch it, but it because it's reading this file. It's live.
Sorry now. I'm gonna take my computer with me real quick. Because I heard a weird noise and my dog is by himself in the living room.
Oh yeah. So does that make sense on how we're looking at one file, and then we've got all those other files that
Yes.
look in different little windows, and then we put it together like a puzzle on the paper space and make it look good.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the concept of that. So again, now this sheet has lots of windows. But again, this sheet holds some of this information in paper space. Now we're going to get into this sheet because this one's the drawing, not much going on. And then if your device legend got longer, you got to come over here. You got to drag that down. That's something that's going to change when we release a new template, like a whole new system, because that's actually a little problematic in the long in the scheme of things.
Okay.
So let's close that. Sure, we'll save. Wait till tomorrow. Okay, now this page is where you'll see the information, most of the information from this. So as you go in, see back to D365, here's this. So what I do, I hit Control A, Control C, I come back here, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. So then this is the mechanical code. So then I come here and I delete out what I don't need.
Hmm.
I just come here, building code, delete, delete. And then that's how I clean up that.
So for the ones that have amendments, and I know this is more like cosmetic, I guess. For example, those there, like some say with local amendment, the building code. Where would you put that piece? Or
Right there.
all right, got it.
And if I'm correct, all the font comes up capitalized, right?
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So automatically, so I've got it lowercase because I copied and pasted it. Let's hit OK.
Mm-hmm.
And if we come here,
Yep.
now I can hit two things. I can hit save or I can type in regen. And then we wait till tomorrow. There it is. It auto-populates. Because in the past, you would do this manually. You would come into this block and you would sit there and you would type in this. And then you would come down to this line and you would type in this. And then you would come into this line and then you would type in that.
I'm sorry.
That's what it was.
I'm just glad I got a fancy system.
Yeah, because the things like the address auto update, and then it'll all auto update in all sheets. Just imagine when people use title blocks that were all text. So you had to add the address in on every page.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And then you added it in wrong. So you got to go back.
Yep.
I mean, I remember when I
It's-
started, it wasn't automatic yet. I remember like the changes were done page by page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so that's the
Oh, I
process.
did
So
it.
yeah. And this is actually what the assignment is in a nutshell, is to go into the properties, fill out all this information. And like I said, most of it came from D365. The information that you need to add in should be starred, because I'm actually going to go ahead and star this just to make it a little more apparent. Like I said, a bunch of real in your face, change this. Hey, how do we know what the seal date is? Is it the date of the project? Or is it an expiration date?
I thought it was the date of sealing, no?
It's gonna be when you first create it, yes, it's the day of the project, but then if you need to come back and do revisions, you just update it then.
Okay. So I wasn't sure, because sometimes I've seen it filled in and so I never changed it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm getting these new ones, I'm like, I don't know what the date should be.
Yeah, it's just gonna be the date, whatever date it's sealed on, I guess I should
Okay.
say.
Okay, cool. So yeah, then I can just come in here and pull one of those. Actually, the square footage will be filled out already. Communication will need to be known, like the one we were looking at. That was sole communication. Here's something I have. This is the thing that I made with Santiago. So we come to documents, sent to me, and I cleaned it up because I don't want to have to retype what needs to be in there. I'm a copy paster. And so we created these kind of fill it in sentences for what would go into these 3 lines. So between system, site, and communication, that's what these are. System, site, communication. So I can just open this and I don't have to worry about how am I going to word the fact that it needs to say soul path, cellular soul path. It's right here. Communicate. It's worded to fit in to our template. So I could come here, I highlight up there, or I have to highlight all up there, whatever it takes. And then
And that file, Hillary, that file is available also in the drive.
this one I've got in my system. So I could
Okay.
put this in, actually I could drop this into the VAM channel. And we'll
Yeah.
put, yeah, that'll be a good one for there. And then we'll all always be able to access it and we can add to it. Because I am an advocate for one source of truth when it comes to files, that we're all pulling from the same place. And this
Yeah,
way, when
makes it
changes
easy.
happen, we're all pulling from the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those lines, you know, I would come here and then just paste that communication shall be solar cell path. So that's just taken care of.
Question, when you mentioned a moment ago that the square footage fills in,
We will fill that in, us, manually.
okay, got it. Because I was like, is it that smart? Does it calculate it?
It can be, yes. Do you want to see?
Yeah.
So again, back to these word fields. We've got, I made one. So if I come here, I created a block. So if I come here to, again, this palette called Design Center, this is a palette that is a window into other drawings. This is actually really cool. So if I create something and it lives in this file, and this file's in my personal network because I haven't, this is where I go to play and create stuff. And I come here to blocks and I created this block called area. I just drag and drop it into this drawing and it lived in a different drawing. I need to find 0, 0 because it always keeps dropping in at 0, 0. Here's 0, 0. So I made this. I want to bring it over here. We'll put it up here. So I need to find the square footage of this building. If I right click, I go to edit block in place. Confirm that I want this block. And then I've got this line, right? Polyline. He's all connected on here. So I stretch him here. Stretch him here. Stretch him here. But I got cutouts. I'll add a vertex. Add a vertex. And move. Add a vertex. Add a vertex. Scoot this guy over. So now that's close enough for government work. And then I wait for my computer to increase. There we go. I'm going to save changes. I'm going to type in regen, or I can save. They kind of, if you save your file, it will regenerate. I'm always going to hit save, but regenerate does do the same thing. And now that field just updated with the square footage. Because
That's mind blowing.
It's reading this line. So the other way to do this, yeah, so it's just a field, just a block. I can even come here because I built it on its own layer. I just turn it off, layer control. But it's also on a non-print layer. So if it's on, it won't matter. It'll never print anyway. So that's for the square footage. So that got me close enough to where I go back in here. But since, again, these are prototypes, that won't change. That's information to have already, I don't want you typing that one in every time. So properties, type. Then the information's done. Square footage, type. Okay, so we've done that. So we've got all the information. There are no more stars in the sheet set manager. Now what? So now to finish up, all you got to do is come here. This will be set up properly. You got to open them all. You have to open them all. If you've done it where you opened the base file and made changes in the sheet set manager and went to print directly, the new file, the connected files won't have connected. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
I'm guessing it's the same way I know.
And the cool part is everything will be set up also within these files to where all those little viewports, all those little windows are in the place where they need to be.
Okay.
So it is just opening them for the sake of making the connection.
Okay. By making the connection, you mean like everything updates with the information that's been.
Yes. All that data that you just typed in feeds into those drawings. Oh, this is killing me.
And I was complaining to IT because my PDFs take like 3 seconds to open.
I can't handle that. I am faster than that 3 seconds. Don't make me wait.
No, sometimes it gets very annoying. It's more than 3 seconds.
Well, don't ever open the details page is all I can say.
Gee.
So yeah, back to this though. So while we're waiting, the Excel sheet, this is one of my next big pushes. Jeremy asked me to work on. Yeah, it's funny because I had already started this. And yesterday he asked me to get something a bit more together. I was like, sure. To on this. And I learned today what I actually did this morning because I changed it to have the in review blank and wired and stuff. I learned how to put it in dark mode and to give it a dark background.
Okay.
So I can even
That's
change my
cool.
background color to which one? Page layout. Delete
Where's this
background.
dark mode? Okay.
Well, this is just there's 2 separate steps.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
dark mode, but your cells stay white. And then if you change your background, you could create PNGs from PowerPoint, just blank slide PNGs.
Yeah.
And then you change your color.
That's really cool. It automatically kind of fills in no matter what size the cell is.
Yeah, because it's just a full background chunk of color.
Okay. Would you possibly send those to me?
I have this right here. I'm gonna put it in chat. These were the directions I just found.
Awesome. Okay.
The longest thing it took me to do was to make the PNGs.
Okay. I'm gonna do that because that's gonna be a lot easier to look at.
Yeah. And then I made 3 different, because they even suggested to make a couple different colors to see what you like. And, picking in the dark, this is my dark green. I did a green, a gray, and a blue. Which, I'm going to go make a couple more. Just to see what gets comfortable. Because, I'm a dark background person. Oh God, it's still not even done.
It's working. Something's happening.
Come on, Schwartz. Come on, Schwartz.
If it was up to me, I also have everything dark It's like
Yeah,
my
I dark
computer, so
mode so
everything.
much. Even my Kindle.
Yeah, I have it all in dark, and then if you look at my
Mhm.
screen, it's almost orange all the time. Because I have a night something they call it. Like I have it on all day anyway. Because it gets my eyes. It gets them bad.
Oh, the
Like my
fatigue.
glasses are not really good anymore. Matter of fact, I have an appointment next week to get new prescription glasses. And then on top of that, I had like the screen things on my screens,
Yeah.
like the blacks, and oof, even then. That was the last thing that I felt like it really improved my working environment when it comes to screens,
Cool.
because it made a difference. But yeah, and that was all still having all the dark backgrounds.
Yeah. I mean, the eye fatigue's no joke. I mean, I get acupuncture done for my wrist. Got to. What? Come on. This isn't even funny anymore. I'm not even entertained.
No.
This is literally just opening so you
know-
can save them again. That's it.
You know what we could do, Hillary? We could take that details page and just take out everything except for the Potter stuff and just make sure it's named the same and then drop it back in those templates. And
That's
it'll
a
probably
smart
beat
one.
this up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to be Potter. So.
Yeah. And then the worst part is there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Oh, once it starts, you're stuck.
Like what happens to my PDFs. Like if I'm trying to print something and I try to open another PDF while something is printing, no matter how big the file is, it won't let me. It freezes up and then it makes it worse.
Yeah.
Also, when it's saving, like I'm saving a spec book, which is the biggest files I work with, and sometimes it can get pretty big. Like I can do nothing while it's saving. It freezes up my Adobe. And it's annoying. I complained to IT about it as well, but they couldn't fix it. It's like IT knows me now. I'm the no patient person. I don't know if anybody else comes to them with this sort of stuff, but I do.
I
So
do
like,
sometimes.
I'm trying to hurry up here.
Yeah, if it takes me more than a day, like I get it, day, I'm just got some bad network connection or something. I don't know why this is
Nah,
happening.
it doesn't
This
take me more
is-
than a day. It's just I have no patience. But sometimes I honestly feel like it takes way too long to save anything.
I am on the network because I just, that's where I moved the file. Because that's where I wanted to work from, not my personal drive where I have all these.
The network gets slower.
Yeah, usually I'm not on the network, but I was just messing with stuff today. So that was a poor life choice for the examples. No, I'm going to open this one because that's the one I need to work on. Oh, that'll teach me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I will tell you what would be next because it would literally open save. Joey,
Okay.
can you open something and do something? I can't take this. Why don't you show her how to publish?
Yeah, let me
We don't have to wait on me.
move something
Wait on
up.
Joey.
Yeah, you gotta wait on me now. Come on, computer. Ooh. Yeah. Find something. I think I have something right on my desktop that I can use. Yeah. I am going to do. Okay. Share. Okay. You want me to show publishing steps, eh?
Yeah, this will be, we'll pretend you opened and saved and closed.
Yeah.
Open, save, and close. Don't open, close. Open, save, close.
Yes. And now we want to publish. You can publish here, the PDF, publish to a plotter, and it opens just the regular window, so you can just name your PDF save. But if you need options, like for instance, yesterday, Evelyn, there's a Lowe's that I need to plot on separate pages. This is set up to just plot one big file. You go to publish dialog box. Remember that. 'Cause then
I didn't
you
know
get
that.
options. Yeah, I just discovered this like when I needed to do this Lowe's. So, and then you have to change it. For some reason, it always comes up as a DWF. Change it to PDF. You can select options and deselect multi-sheet, and that's going to print separate sheets. So you're going to have 3 separate sheets instead of 1. And then there are other options here, like you can see your path. Like I usually just save it to desktop, or if I have a folder, I'll save it to that. We're just going to save it to desktop, and then publish in your file.
That is so helpful because especially Florida, they get so picky about being separate sheets. And then when they, when we receive them from the designers as a whole set, there goes I go to Adobe and then like separate sheet by sheet. It's very annoying.
If you put it in the task, we'll separate it. How about that?
Yeah. Oh,
No,
let us know what you want.
No,
Yeah.
it is appreciated, but like you guys already did the work, and it's like sending you guys back to do the same work, like to republish it. And I know
But if you
it's
put it in the
work.
notes at the beginning,
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
just do it
we
from
we
the
usually
beginning.
find out at revision time because
Okay.
they don't tell us
Yeah.
during research.
Of course
You
not.
gotta submit separate pages. No, just go ahead and submit here, and then we
Yeah.
go and submit there, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm not rejecting you, but give me separate pages, otherwise I can't review. Like, well, thanks.
Just let, like, as far as I'm concerned, let me know, because like this is pretty quick. It's probably a lot quicker than what you have to do.
Yeah, it takes me a good, like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes because I gotta go into the file and then create copy. This is the way I do it anyway. I create copies and then I go into each copy and just keep the page I need.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, I can even show you how to extract.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, you can extract pages. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, God dang, we're not getting that here. One more. Hang on. Let me share one more thing.
Okay. Yeah, let me.
Because for this, I do want to point out, again, just pointing out what we do with the BAM channel. Like I'm going to put in that scope of work sheet, that Excel. I'm going to drop that here into files. Again, these are other things you could click on and see what we've been messing with. But the one I want to point out is topics for discussion.
Yeah.
We got so much to just keep writing down whatever it is you want us to talk about. Because when I just go to get the agenda ready for next week, this is how I pull from stuff. That's why there's always stuff on the agenda. It's very focused conversation. It's not a complaint fest, although sometimes, I'm not going to say it's never. But it's really, the point is to be more productive. So for next week, and actually given that it's us 3, we need to focus on CEUs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm putting on for next week, because I'm tired of doing nothing. And that's all I've done. I've never done a CEU.
I have, I don't know. I guess I just get like lazy in signing up for the ones, because the ones that do give you CU credits, you usually gotta pay, and the company pays you back. That's not a problem. It's just I get lazy to like go sign up and do the whole process.
And that's what we're going to do next week, is we are going to dedicate this. And that's the whole point of this. Again, it's hard to schedule the time. I mean, we are busy people, and to set aside time to pursue these things, and how much faster we can do it doing it together, to divide and conquer our resources. We can all look at a different website for a class and then share it with each other. Of something that we think would be in it, because I don't want to take lame classes. I don't want to take something for the sake of getting points. I want to take something interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, these classes, they're not sure, because the ones that give you CEUs is not like the 20-minute, like, here you go, like funny graphics. It's like a whole like hour sit down full of information kind of class.
Yeah.
That's like, ugh. what time?
And then not only can we encourage each other to sign up for the class, but you know, do we need to take the class together to help make sure we execute?
Right.
Or is
Yeah.
it better to divvy it out? So again, it's not 3 people not working. It doesn't matter if it's 3 people not working,
Yeah,
because
I don't
whether we're
think
working the
Jeremy's gonna like
same
that.
time or not, I don't know. Just things
So-
to think about.
I won't get into it too much just because we're going to talk about it next week. But like the one thing, just thinking about this is like Fire Smarts is somebody that I've always used, and they have classes like Rosemary's talking about. They're an hour and they're 1 credit. But the nice thing about them is I have to check. You used to be able to download them, which means you could watch the class whenever you wanted, and then you just go pay the $40 and get your, your CEU whenever you finish it.
Yeah.
So that would also be an option possibly. So well, anyway, we can talk
Yeah.
about that though next week.
Exactly. So that's next week. We are going to
Yeah.
divide and conquer on CEUs. Rosemary, for this week, don't forget to type up how you feel your process is. And again, hopefully, perfect. That's awesome. And then we get you one for you to follow your steps again to see if you feel you did it right. You know, like,
Yeah,
and again,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll get with you if I get lost getting to the files, because I would like to like do it myself. I promise I won't break anything.
yeah.
I just want to try and like play with it myself, because I learn best like that. I can watch you, and obviously I need to watch it first to get the idea. But then how I really, really learn, it's like by doing it myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know the next time, because I've got one cup that just came through that's not a prototype. So but I've got a bunch on my list. So the minute I get a prototype and I see it is, I'm gonna swing it to you.
Thank you.
Try.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'll type up the notes. They look like chicken scratch here, but I promise I understand what I wrote.
Yeah, I know how that goes. So that's why I wanted you to note take how you feel comfortable.
Thank you.
Because that's so important. And then yeah, now you get to see if they're efficient next time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We've gone over anything else before we get out of here.
All good.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your participation. And I look forward to next week.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Bye, guys.
Bye.